Hey, you, I want to say thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for taking action in your life. You know, it makes you a part of the rare. It makes you a part of the 8%. 92% of people say they want change. They talk about change. These days they type about change, but they don't actually put in the effort consistently and commit to the effort to actually make that change. My only ask of you in our conversation is that you lock in. You don't have to take everything I'm saying, but maybe there's something that you can take and apply to your life, because this is what I know is true. So many people have a lot of input of information. We live in an information world right now where there's so much information, podcasts, events, all the things, which is great because we need information in order to do things we never done before, to learn how to do it. We need that. But what I'm seeing is a trend of a lot of information, but no output of action. And information without action is pointless. Transformation is started through application. Application will create your transformation. So make a commitment to yourself. You know, make a pact with yourself that you are going to apply something, not just hear, not just listen, but understand so you can apply to create some transformation in your life. And what I want you to do before we get started is I want you to think about the greatest version of yourself. Have you thought about that person? What does that person look like in your life? There's a you inside of you. I promise you this. There's a you inside of you that you haven't even met yet. And that you is the greatest you. There's a version inside of you that is dying to come out, that is dying to no longer be a stranger, that is dying to become you. And that version of you is the greatest you. And what I've learned in over these 15 years of me being a purpose coach is that most people have no idea, oblivious to who that individual is. It's like, I don't know who the greatest me is. And so I want you to think about that person for a moment. And even after our conversation, I want you to spend time, maybe 10 minutes, and meditate on that. Like, who is that person? What is that person doing? What is the person's lifestyle? What's the energy? What's the type of peace that you have in your life? And I want you to start making sure that your actions, right, match the person that you want to be. Because in order to become a person that we've never been before, we have to make sure we do actions that are congruent to that. Because desire is great. Desire is great. Everybody has desire. Desire is great. It's phenomenal. I love that you have a desire, but my question to you would be, is that does your dedication match your desire? Because there's a lot of people who have a strong desire, but just being real, their dedication is weak. There's a lot of people who make choices, right? The choices are strong, but the commitment is weak. So I want to make sure your commitment matches your choices. Your dedication matches your desire. And even your pursuit matches your potential. A lot of people with potential, but I want you to have a pursuit that's pushing you to actually make sure your potential is met. I don't want you to live with your potential anymore. I want you to live in your potential. And I'm going to say that again. I don't want you to live with your potential anymore, right? I want you to live in your potential. What I'm going to talk about today is from my book, which I have right here, called Protect Your Peace, that's coming out very soon through Hay House. And it's 9 unapologetic principles for thriving in a chaotic world. And Protect Your Peace is a triad of 3 things: protecting your energy, protecting your mind, and protecting your soul. And for our conversation today, I want to focus on a principle in Protect Your Mind. And that principle is shift your perspective. And I want to just ask you this question and be real with yourself, because if you can't be real with yourself, you can't change your life, right? It starts with you being real with yourself and honest with yourself. Is your perspective your power or your prison? A prison perspective is a perspective that is a self-pity perspective. It's a perspective that blames and complains. It's perspective that usually says easier said than done. So maybe you're at this summit and you're hearing all this information, but you're thinking about why you can't be. You're thinking about why you can't do it. You're thinking about your limitations. That is a prison perspective. A prison perspective, it's like a false justification of being okay with where you're at, even though you're not okay with where you're at, right? It gives you an excuse to put off on other people or other things or other situations that might be true on why you're at where you're at. And I want to tell you right now, Other things might have brought you to your place where you're at, but it's your responsibility on what you do with the information from here on out. It's your responsibility whether you grow from here or you stay here. It's on you. But then there's the power perspective. And the power perspective says, you know what? There's a lot of things that's come against me this year. There will be a lot of things that will come against me. But one thing is for sure, I'm not going to fold. One thing is for sure, I'm going to figure it out. One thing is for sure, I know that everything that comes against me, I'm going to use it to build me. I'm going to use it to strengthen me. I'm going to use it to help me meet the greatest version of myself. And that's a big part of peace. Peace doesn't mean everything is okay. Peace doesn't mean the storm doesn't exist. Peace means that, yes, I know the storm exists, but peace tells me that the storm shall pass. Peace allows me to dance in the rain. Peace allows me to celebrate even when there's disaster going on because I know things will change. Even when destruction happens, peace says it's okay because we will rebuild. We will grow. We will climb out of the rubble. That's what peace says. So peace doesn't mean that you're not going to go through anything. Peace means that you're going to grow through everything. With this principle, shift your perspective, okay? But I want to give you this, a simple tactical thing that I believe will change your life. As a perspective and purpose coach, when I give this tool to people, it's the simplest thing. We're like, wow, it's so life-changing. This is what I know is true. When things happen in life, most of us, we ask ourselves this question. When unfavorable things happen, we ask ourselves this question. What does this mean? So, for example, when I lost my NFL career, when I went through my times of not knowing what was next for my life, when I got cut from the NFL, the first thing that I told myself was, or asked myself was, what does this mean? And based upon my previous experience and my mindset, which was kind of a prison perspective, I told myself very briefly that it means my life is over. It means that my dream is done. And immediately that put me into a limiting life, right? It made me think that there was nothing more to my life because without football, who am I? I had a coach in my father. I had a coach in my mother. And they told me and said, Trent, your life is not over. It's just beginning. And it was hard to believe that because there was so much physical evidence that said my life was over because I never worked a 9-to-5. This is what I've been doing since I was 4 years old. So there couldn't be more to my life. But I will tell you this, and we talk about this in the book, there was an internal knowing that said, hey, there's more to your life. There's more. And the perspective shift that I had that shifted me from my prison to my power, I no longer was in that mindset of what does this mean? But I added a few words to that statement and it changed my life and it changes my life every single day to help me live in this power perspective. And that was, instead of saying, what does this mean? I moved to, what is this going to mean? And I'm going to let that breathe for a second because most times that goes right over people's heads. But I no longer said, what does this mean? I said, what is this going to mean? And that simple shift, that simple addition to words in that statement shifts you into your power. Now you realize that it's on you. Now you realize that you have the power to decide what this unfavorable moment is going to mean. And what I decided that this unfavorable moment doesn't mean that I'm not a favored human being. I'm still favored. Even though I went through this unfavorable moment, I'm still favored. I still know there's more to my life. And I decided to create an empowering meaning to that situation. And that empowering meaning says, this had to end so my true purpose could begin. Did I know what my true purpose was? Did I know what was meant for my life and what was coming for my life? Absolutely not. But I created a meaning to serve my soul. I created a meaning to serve my peace. I created a meaning to serve my happiness. I decided to stop being the biggest destroyer of my future. And I decided to be the builder of my future. I decided to say, you know what? I'm going to create a meaning that's going to serve my life, that's going to serve my best self, that's going to serve my future. So this is going to mean my life is just beginning. This is going to mean I'm about to have some breakthroughs. This is going to mean I'm about to go to another level. This is going to mean that this thing had to end so better things in my life can begin. And I took the power out of that situation that was making me so powerless, and it made me more powerful when it came to living my life. And now, 18 million followers later, over 1 billion video views, speaking to 14, 15 countries across the world, being one of the most requested speakers in the world. It started with me having that simple shift to say, you know what? Every time something happens in my life, I'm going to make sure I use it for my good. Every time something is meant to break me, I'm going to allow it to build me. Every time something is meant to make me question my worth, I'm going to let that thing make me know that I'm even worth it even more. I'm going to decide to have empowering meanings in my life, and it shifted my life. So from this day forward, I want you to realize this. Life is less about what happens to you, and it's more about the meanings you give to what happens to you. Life is less about what happens to you, and it's more about how you respond to what happens to you. Life is less about what happens to you, and it's more about how you use what happens to you. You can't control what's going to come into your life. I don't care what plan you got. I don't care how perfect your plan may be. You can't control the experiences of life necessarily. You might can influence it a little bit, but you can't control it. You can't control when the storm is going to come, but you can control if you decide to dance in the rain or complain. You can't control that. You can't control if you're going to allow the storm to grow something in your life, or you're going to allow the storm to make you run from everything that you're meant to be. You can control that. You're in control of the meanings. Write this down. You're in control of how you respond. Make up in your mind right now how you're going to respond to any situation that comes in your life. Are you going to fold? Or are you going to stand tall? Are you going to run? Or are you going to say, you know what? I'm not running no more. Are you going to allow it to break you? Or are you going to allow it to build you? There's nothing in this world that's more powerful than a made up mind. And some individuals have made up their mind that their life is over. Some individuals have made up their mind that they will never become anything, and they live like that. That's the energy you create. It's called soul momentum. If you've ever been in a sports game, there's this invisible superpower called momentum. And you always wonder, like, how did some of you got sports teams, and you might be upset right now because your sports team did terrible this year, or your sports team might have lost a big game and they might have been up and the other team came back. You're like, how did that happen? And me being a former athlete, I know how it happened. Momentum is created when a team still believes. I want you to listen to me right now. Momentum is created when a team still believes despite what's real in the moment, despite what the scoreboard says, despite if the fans are there or not, despite the boos, a team still believes no matter what the scoreboard says. In that belief, what happens is it creates that synergy amongst a team. And what happens, you start to realize that this team is not giving up. This team doesn't have a quitting spirit. This team doesn't have a self-pity spirit. And eventually, as they keep chipping away, eventually as they keep showing up no matter what's coming against them, eventually as they keep staying loyal to the commitment, they got a commitment that we're not going to quit, we're not going to fold. And they keep staying committed. Eventually, they have a breakthrough. They have a breakthrough. And that breakthrough creates some momentum, and you see that team come back. You this year in your life, you're going to have times where things are trying to break you. You're going to get to a place, I guarantee, because every human is going to deal with this, where you come to a breaking point. We have a choice. You can break down or you can break through. But how you create that positive soul momentum that shifts you into your next level, that builds your comeback even after that setback, is that you stay loyal to the decision that you made. You create the meaning. You made up in your mind that I'm not quitting. You made up in your mind that I'm not folding. You made up in your mind that I'm not retreating. You made up in your mind that I'm not surrendering. So no matter what comes my way, this is my mindset. No matter what. And you create that momentum that shifts you into your power. I want to talk about 3 perspectives as we wrap this conversation up that you could have. In perspective, let me be clear. Perspective is how you see the world. Shift your perspective, as I said earlier, is a big principle in Protect Your Peace. Very big principle when it comes to protecting your mind. Perspective is always in your control. Nobody can control your perspective without your permission. The perspective is yours. And I'm going to be real with you. Your perspective is right. If you have a negative perspective, a prison perspective is right. That's what you're going to believe. That's what you're going to feed your soul. And I'm going to just tell you right now, what you feed your mind will grow in your soul. Right? How you think about things is how you start to do things. How you do things, the result is going to produce the result that you get. The result that you get is going to produce the life that you live. It starts with your perspective. But you're right. But is that perspective serving the level that you want to go to? Right? Is it serving your business standards? Is it serving your character? Is it serving your life? Right? Is it serving you as an individual, as a person? And I realized this in coaching so many people, and even in my own life, that it comes down to three perspectives people see the world through. I would like to present these perspectives as glasses, right? A prescription that's been given to you that you wear, and every single day you have a choice on what glasses that you choose to put on. It's yours. You pick it up and you put it on. And I know that when hard times come, I know when setbacks come, I know when unfavorable moments come, it is so easy to pick up a certain perspective and feel sorry for your life and feel sorry for yourself. You're a human. You're going to go through things. I went through a rough past 3 years. And life tried to make me put on a perspective that didn't serve my life. And at times I did. But it didn't help me at all. It actually made my situations worse. But this first perspective that a lot of people live in is called the past perspective. There's a lot of individuals that's seeing the world through their past. So when you hear messages like this, if you're feeling like you're not good enough because of something that happened in your past, if you feel like you can't be great because of your mistakes, if you feel like your past is too bad to create something good in your life, then you are living your life through a past perspective. If you're allowing people to chain you to your past, if you practice self-guilt instead of self-greatness, right? Self-pity instead of self-compassion, you are living through your past. So you're seeing everything through your past. So you count yourself out because you feel like you're not enough because of your past. Some of us, we are wearing outdated perspectives. We're still living in 10 years ago, 15 years ago. It's done. You can't do anything about that. And you will never change your future by living in your past. Your past is meant for you to look back and say, wow, look how far I come. Look how much I grew. Look how much I overcame. It's a part of your story. It's not your story. And I want to tell you this, just because you had some bad chapters, my friend, doesn't mean your story can't end well. And I'll repeat that. Just because you had some bad chapters, some disappointing chapters, some unfavorable chapters, some sad chapters, some sucky chapters, doesn't mean that your story can't end well. But you got to make up your mind right now to take off those lenses and break them. Because seeing life through your past will not serve your life. The second set of lenses that a lot of people live in is the pleasing perspective. Right? They live life pleasing people, pleasing opinions. They live life trying to fit the narrative that other people have for them. They live life trying to please other people's perspective of them. Living life pleasing perspectives, and you're so worried about what they think of you. And let me tell you this. What they think of you, what they say about you should have no penetration of your confidence on how you feel about yourself. What they think of you should never change what you know about you. But unfortunately, a lot of us is what I call triple P's in the book, professional people pleasers. We live life pleasing people. So we trade in our identity for popularity. We don't be ourselves because we feel ourselves aren't enough. We be who we think people want us to be. We care more about people that care less about us. We care about the opinions of people that can care less about us. We want to please everybody. We want to be everything to everybody. Let me tell you this truth and write this down. The first step to being unhappy, my friend, is trying to please everyone else. That's the first step to being unhappy, is trying to please everyone else, because that is mission impossible. So what if you took off those pleasing lenses? What if you took off those past lenses and you start to see the world through this perspective, through this lens, your power perspective? And your power perspective says this: no matter what I go through, no matter what I've been through, it's not going to break me. I'm going to continue to live in my purpose. I'm going to continue to live in my power. I'm going to continue to live in my peace. I'm going to continue to live in my passion. No matter what, I am committed to my higher self. I'm committed to my mission. I'm dedicated. I'm disciplined. I got faith. I got heart. And I'm going to keep pushing no matter what. Yep, there might be times where I get down on life. There might be times where you see me cry. There might be times where you see me take a break, but you're never going to see me quit. That's the power perspective, where you say, everything is working for me. Everything is for my good. Everything is for my life. Everything is for my strength. One thing I tell myself, you can adopt this if you want. I always tell myself this is power. I'm just recovering from a ruptured Achilles tendon. The worst my doctor ever seen. It's split in two places. I'm just now being able to walk after 2 years of like walking regular, and I'm still not 100% healed. But when that situation happened, I told myself mentally, this is power. Even though it made me feel powerless, even though I couldn't walk, even though it hurt, like I said, this is power. This is going to build something inside of me that no perfect moment or year could have built. This is power. How would your life change if you start to look at everything in your life as power? Yep, the people talking about you, power. The people that don't support you, power. The thing that you started and it didn't go exactly how you planned, power. What if you looked at everything in your life as that? I'll tell you what happened. You're creating an environment where you can't lose. Because even in your losses, they're lessons. Even in your mistakes, they're lessons. Everything you do is building you. When you have that perspective and you look at life like that, you become what I call unstoppable. You become an unstoppable force for good, an unstoppable force for greatness. You become legendary. And I want to tell you this. Legendary is not just available for a certain type of people. A legend is just an ordinary person with extraordinary determination. That's it. It's time for you to become legendary. It's time for you to protect your peace. It is time for you to live your best life. It's available to you. And I know this seems super motivational. This is not meant to be a motivational moment. If you're motivated, great. But this is a real moment. This is a transformational moment. I'm not speaking these things because it sounds good. I'm speaking these things because I live it. I know how it feels to be at rock bottom. I told you I started this 15 years ago with zero. But I had a power perspective that wouldn't let me quit. I had a relentless spirit. I had a mission that was real enough, that was deep enough, a why that I couldn't run from, a why that still brings tears to my eyes when I talk about it. You know, this isn't just a business thing for me. This is a purpose thing for me. This is a life thing for me. This is a mission for me. And I'm relentless in giving my gift and giving the things that's been given to me to give to the world to help people. It's time for you to stop sleeping on your life if you are, and it's time for you to wake up and realize that you are made for more. You're made for more than what you're selling for. You're made for more than your excuses that you've been giving yourself. You made for more than the setbacks life has put on your life. You are made for more. But you have to walk into that. You have to believe that. I know people have told you that. You might have heard that. You're hearing this right now, but you got to really believe it. Because nothing is possible without belief. I'm going to keep it 1,000 with you. And straight up with you. Nothing is possible without belief. If you don't believe, it is not going to happen. You have to believe in it wholeheartedly. You have to believe in it despite. You see, commitment, give me a few more minutes of your time. Commitment is unwavering. Commitment is not conditional. Too many people in this world, when they don't live in that power perspective, they live a conditional life. When I feel like it, I will do it. If everything's going right, then great. I feel great about it. Commitment is not conditional. Commitment is unconditional. No matter what, no matter why, no matter who, no matter etc., I am still staying down for my mission. I'm still staying loyal to what I said I was going to do. I'm still staying consistent every single day because this is bigger than just me. I'm fighting for something greater. I'm fighting for something larger. I'm fighting for something bigger. That's true commitment. And that's the perspective that you have to walk in your power. Your best life, I promise you, is waiting for you. I promise you. It's time to go get it. It's time to go get it. There's somebody out there waiting for you to answer your call. There's somebody waiting for you to answer share your gifts. There's somebody waiting for you in this world that needs you. They're waiting for you. Not me, not whoever else you listen to, but you. It's you that they're waiting for. Walk into your greatness, my friend. But like I tell you in every single video, it all starts with you. Protect your peace, protect your life, protect your energy, protect your soul, protect your mind, and go get the life that was meant for you. It's rehab time. Let's get it. Straight up.